Are you ready to sew? You have your machine threaded and you cannot get the thread through the machine needle. I've got you. There are a couple of ways to thread the needle on your sewing machine, but it all kind of depends first on, do you have the right needle in the sewing machine? Let's talk about thread. Most of the time when you're sewing, you're using a all-purpose or a cotton thread, a rayon thread, something like that. I like Gutermann, it's my favorite brand, and you can see it's fairly thin and soft and it's gonna be easy to thread. But occasionally you're doing top stitching or repairing denim and you're gonna use an upholstery weight or top stitch thread, and you can see how much thicker that is. It's gonna be harder to get through the eye of a standard needle. When we're using thread like this, we don't use a standard needle. We use a denim needle or a top stitch needle that's going to have a larger eye. That's the part that you put the thread through. It's going to make it easier to thread. Now there are a lot of different kinds of needles, and you can even buy them by the 100 pack to save yourself money. And if you'd like to learn more about needles, let me know and I will post a whole video just talking about the different kinds. But for now, all you need to know is that universal will work for mostly everything. And if you're using a thicker thread, like our upholstery thread here, you're gonna wanna bump yourself up to a denim or a top stitch needle. All right, let's get threading. First, there is what we would call the normal or the traditional way. You have your thread and you're just going to poke the end through the eye of the needle. Just like that. There are a couple things that can make it easier. I've seen people lick the end of the thread. I've seen people put it through some beeswax first to make it stiffer and easier to manage. I've seen people even lick their finger and then wipe it on the edge of the needle. They say that it makes it more attractive to the thread. I don't know if that works, but that is way number one, just thread it. Way number two involves the threading assistant. Many of you have this on your machines nowadays, if a newer machine. You're gonna have this tab here, and what that does is it pushes down your threading assistant and engages the hook through the eye of the needle that's gonna pull back the thread. Let me get another angle on that for you. You see my device comes down and it pushes through. Here it is from another angle. I'm gonna bring it down, hook it, and sometimes I find I have a little more control if I put my thumb over the thread and then increase the tension here so I have more control with this hand. I'm gonna slip the thread between the two metal guides, and like I said, sweep up with the rotational movement of my hand till I feel that it's hooked, and then I'm gonna let go of everything at the same time. And there it is. Let's talk about needle threaders, because this is probably my favorite way to thread a machine needle. This is my favorite model. Basically inside of here, there's a little wire push that's going to, instead of the last method, which was pulling the thread through the eye of the needle, this one's going to push the thread through the eye of the needle. So there's a notch and a notch. Your thread is going to go from non-notched side to non-notched side, and the notch is going to go up and down your needle. You can hold the thread with your other hand. You can hold it kind of pinched around the threader, whatever is easy for you. Let me switch to left-handed so you can see. There's my thread across, and my needle threader is going to go up and down until it hits through, and there's that little loop. So you can either grab the other end, grab it, and just pull that loop through to thread your needle. The other bonus to this needle threader is that you can use that right there on the end to grab your needle and help you stabilize it as you're replacing it. Really good for sergers where you don't want that needle falling down into the machinery. Now I have people struggle to use this one sometimes. They can't quite feel where the eye is about to hit. I would say if you're having trouble using this model, slide it down without thread first so that you get the feel of the wire poking through when it gets to the right point. And once you've got that, add your thread. Again, from non-notch side to non-notch side, notch goes up and down, and there's your loop. Of course, you can use other kinds of needle threaders. This one's a hand threader, And this one's going to push in from the back because, like the first method, it's going to actually pull the thread through. As you can see, this one's a lot harder to use because it's designed for hand threading, or sorry, hand sewing. But if you're in a pinch, it's worth a try. You push it through and then just pull back through. So if you are having trouble threading the needle on your machine, remember, try your automatic needle threader, put a little tension on it, do the upward sweeping back motion to hook it, or try out a machine threader. This is my favorite method. It's so easy once you get the hang of it. I can do it without looking now. And they're like $5. If neither of these are working for you, remember, do I have the right needle for my thread? A heavier thread is going to require a bigger eye on your needle. And of course, let me know if you're interested in that needle bootcamp video, all right? Have a great day. Of course, there is one other way. Of course, there is one other way.